guys, welcome back to another pregnancy Q&A and second and third trimester update. I am officially 35 weeks. I wanted to just hop on here and give you guys another update. I had you guys submit some questions on Instagram, which I will answer at the end of this video. And yes, I got a new phone case. I'm super excited. I finally invested in one. I have been needing one because the other one that I had was literally falling apart. But anyway, so like I said, I am 35 weeks pregnant right now, which is the 8th month of pregnancy, which means I have about a month to go. I could technically be going into labor anywhere from 3 weeks from now up until like 6 or 7 weeks from now. With that being said, we're going to start off with our second trimester first. My second trimester was a breeze. I miss it so much. If you guys haven't seen my first trimester update, I'll link it down below for you guys to watch, where I kind of just share like all of my symptoms and experiences during the first trimester. Once I hit my second trimester, I literally felt like not pregnant because my nausea went away. I wasn't like super tired. I wasn't fatigued. I felt like I had gotten a lot of my energy back, and like I feel like I could eat whatever I want without feeling sick. The second trimester was amazing just because you, like, I guess you're pregnant, but like you don't feel like so many symptoms, like the need to constantly pee because of all of your like changes in hormones that happen during your first trimester. They kind of like regulate during the second trimester to where your need to pee is like not as urgent. I felt like I had a lot of my energy come back, like I said, so I was not necessarily in the need to take like naps the way I felt like I did during the first trimester, and I just felt a lot more motivated. During the first trimester, I just felt so nauseous and like so tired and just like not in the mood to do literally anything. During the second trimester, I felt like all of my energy and like my motivation came back, and my desire to like want to invest in things came back, and I just felt so much more motivated. And then physically, for the most part, I didn't really have to update my wardrobe until the end of my second trimester, right when I hit my third trimester. I obviously wanted to be comfortable, so I did wear a lot more like leggings and dresses. My bump was not very large at all, so it wasn't necessarily in the way. I wasn't uncomfortable. I could still move around. I could still sleep for the most part super well, and like the bump was just like really small. I thought it was just like really cute accessory, like when you take pictures because you can take like, you know, cute little bump pictures. But anyway, so that's the second trimester for you. There's not really like much to it as far as like horrible things. The only thing I will say that I did get a lot of was like leg cramps, and it was usually when I'd wake up in the morning. If I'd stretch a certain way, I would like immediately cramp up, so I had to be very careful with how I would like stretch my legs and how I'd get up in the morning. And that was the only annoying thing I could honestly think of in the entire second trimester. So far, it's probably been my favorite trimester thus far. Now that I'm into my third trimester, there has been such a huge shift in comfort. The bump is obviously so much bigger, so it's a lot more uncomfortable, especially at work, to be on my feet for such a long period of time. I get tired a lot faster, and it's just not necessarily the most comfortable thing, like when I'm having to like bend down to pick something up, or having to do dishes, or changing like the bed sheets on my bed is, I let Greyson do that because it's just too much. And in addition, it's still pretty high up compared to like when you get towards the end of your third trimester, when you're like getting close to delivery. So when it's higher up, I feel like I'm out of breath a lot faster. So I definitely have to be really mindful of like how I sit down, how I get comfortable, because I get out of breath and feel like really crushed a lot of times. So that's that. My leg cramps for the most part have gone away though, so I don't really experience that much in the morning now that I'm in my third trimester. However, sleeping in the third trimester is literally so annoying. I finally invested in a pregnancy pillow, and it has helped a lot. However, it is just it's just really annoying because you really only have two options. You sleep on your left or your right side. So like it just gets really annoying because your options are limited. And then in addition, your urge to like pee is back, like so much worse. Kind of like it is during your first trimester, and this time it has nothing to do necessarily with like your hormones. It has everything to do with like the baby just being big and like being positioned for delivery, that like the baby's head puts pressure on your bladder. So like sometimes it's not even the fact that like you have to like necessarily pee because you've had so much fluid. It's just because there's so much pressure on your bladder from the baby that you just have a constant urge to like pee. What else? Something else. So I would say it hasn't been necessarily horrible. I've been very blessed and thankful that like my symptoms have been pretty mild compared to a lot of other people's pregnancies. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and get on to your questions now. The very first one is, when was morning sickness at its worst? I'd probably have to go back to my first trimester. It was definitely, I feel like, the worst at night. As weird as that sounds, like I'd wake up feeling nauseous, and I'd feel nauseous like throughout the entire day. But it was more so when I'd like lay down to go to bed that I like felt really, really sick, and I was just like tired from like all the scents and stuff that were like around me. Next question is, did you have to buy a new wardrobe to make way for the bump? So yes, for the most part I did. Towards the end of my second trimester into my third trimester, I had to actually invest in maternity clothing, I guess. So a lot of the clothes that I bought was not actually made for like maternity. I would just like size up on like what I would originally wear, because I found that a lot of like the maternity clothes was either like not super cute, or it was just like excessively large, or just like really unflattering, which obviously you don't want to feel larger than you are or feel unflattering considering like everything that your body's going through. And because the weather was so nice, I got to wear just a lot of like dresses, so it was really nice and flowy, so I didn't really have to worry about the whole pants situation. I did invest in one pair of maternity workout leggings that I got off of Amazon actually, and I'll link them down below for you guys if you're interested. I ordered a size small, and I've worn it throughout my entire pregnancy, and it has been really great, obviously to wear to the gym, but also to wear to work. And then if I am not in the mood to wear a dress, I'll throw that on with like an oversized t-shirt. The only other thing that I did invest in, which I actually had to do in my second trimester, was I had to buy new bras. None of my bras fit me anymore. I like switched to a size up in just like bralettes, and then it wasn't up until recently that I had to size up again. I'll link some of my favorite like dresses and outfits down below for you guys if you're curious. Next question that I got was, any cravings? I wouldn't say that I've had any cravings, and I also haven't had any like really strange cravings where people like pickles and ice cream, or I don't know, tuna and ice cream, like all that stuff. No, I haven't been in the mood for any of that. And I am curious, like, if you guys have had cravings like that, like let me know down below what you've had. I've like read into it, and I've read that a lot of it actually has to do with your body signaling that you have a deficiency in something. I don't even remember, but like if you're really in the mood for certain food types, then it basically just means that like you're either like iron deficient or anemic, or just lack some kind of supplement. So I don't know like to what degree that's accurate or what exactly, but needless to say, I didn't really have any cravings. The next question is, have I felt any kicks or any movement? So yes, now in the third trimester, I like for sure know that she's like moving, because you can like literally see like my stomach like spaz a little bit when she makes movements. I didn't for sure feel any movement until the day that I hit 23 weeks. It wasn't until recently that I picked up on her hiccups. So yes, I have felt movement. The next question is, have I gained any weight? If so, how much? Hope it's not too personal. As of now, being 35, almost 36 weeks pregnant, I have gained 25 pounds since I got pregnant. It's within a healthy range of how much you should be gaining. The baby right now is about 5-ish pounds. You also have to take into account that like I have water retention, a placenta, and my like blood supply has increased. So there's a lot of factors that go into like why people gain weight when they're pregnant, and it's not necessarily just because they're getting fat. But either way, regardless of like where you're at in the spectrum, like it's totally normal to gain weight, and it's okay if it's not just the baby and the pregnancy and you are gaining some fat. Like it's bound to happen. I still try to eat really healthy and like not consume a lot of sugar, and I've tried my best to stay as active as possible, but like the level at which I was active pre-pregnancy to what I am now is not even remotely the same, just because there's a lot of exercises that like I physically can't do anymore because they're not safe, or like the bump gets in the way, or I just really honestly don't have the energy for them. But whatever you guys have gained, obviously like don't feel bad about it, because you're having a baby, you're pregnant, your baby's growing. Like it's a totally normal and healthy process to go through, and I am really looking forward to being able to get back into some kind of a workout routine once I'm not pregnant anymore. And it's just because it's something that I enjoy doing, not necessarily because I feel like I have to do it. And last but not least, how has sex been? So, long story short, it is not ideal with the bump. Gets in the way, and it's not the most comfortable thing. During the first trimester, it's not an issue in regards to comfort. I would say it's just an issue of finding a time where you don't feel like throwing up. And then during your second trimester, I feel like it's not an issue at all, honestly, until you're like towards the very end of your second trimester. Like there is a baby bump there, but it's not necessarily like large enough to where it gets in the way. During the third trimester, it varies from person to person. Like some people's sex drive increases, some people's sex drive decreases, like during different months of your pregnancy. I wouldn't necessarily say that like pregnancy has like decreased my sex drive, but it definitely makes it a little harder to like not necessarily be in the mood, but just kind of like not get yourself out of the mood, if that makes sense. And by that I mean like you can be in the mood, but then like having to think about how like uncomfortable you're gonna be kind of like kills the vibe, if that makes sense. You just have to be creative about it, and you have to be open about it and be able to like communicate like what's working and what's not working. And I think it's also important to be mindful that like for the most part you're the one who's like the most uncomfortable. You want to also take into account like your partner, because this is still very like different for him, if that makes sense. It's still gonna be like awkward and funny and uncomfortable like for both people involved. So yeah, it's not impossible. It's totally safe for the baby. It's encouraged because it helps facilitate with labor, just because it kind of allows your pelvic muscles to like know that they need to be open. I hope this isn't like too TMI for you guys, but like you guys asked the question. But also like the male sperm, I don't know what exactly is in it, but it softens the cervix. So it's actually encouraged that the more sex you have, the easier your labor hopefully is. It's totally doable. You just have to be mindful and really intentional about setting time for it, because you're going to want to have time to like prep yourself and just kind of like get yourself and keep yourself in the mood without letting like the pain of like, oh, my hip hurts, or like, oh, I can't breathe, or like just things along those lines to get in the way. So yeah. Alright, so yeah, that is all the questions. I'm going to end it there. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I know it was a little lengthy. I tried to be as detailed as possible, but as quick as possible. But either way, I hope that you guys enjoyed. Thank you so much for submitting your questions. If you guys have any more questions or are curious about anything else, or if there's like a certain topic that you want me to go a little more depth into, by all means, just comment down below. I'd love to do a video around it. And yeah, I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!